provide. I I wanted to make one brief announcement. Last week, there were some things said that I received a couple comments related to, and um, related to my direction or philosophy related to the invocations that we have. And I just wanted to clear the record. One of my goals as Rotary, your chairman or your president this year, is to allow for more fellowship time if at all possible. And I've just asked the 25 Club chairman, Susan Ziobro. She and I had a discussion about a month ago, and I talked to her about this, and we're fairly comfortable about it, where we just want to keep our invocations somewhat brief. I asked her to encourage those giving the invocations to do it in 60 seconds or less, if possible. And the traditional purpose of an invocation is to express gratitude, uh, seek our Almighty's support of our meeting and our activities, and to express gratitude. And got it. Thank you, Russ. I can't believe we're going to give him the microphone. He's serving as our sergeant of arms today. So, but so um, so what was said last week was maybe taken a little out of context, and I just want you to know that I appreciate. Our goal is to have uh, to be tolerant and to be multicultural as much as we can. I'd already asked Bhavin if he would offer a Sikh prayer since he's of the Sikh faith, and and so we just want to make sure that we're not trying to promote any one faith or anything like that. We just want to show our gratitude and respect and invoke whatever blessings from on high uh, to our activities and to our food. And that's all we meant. And so with that, I apologize if anybody was offended. And we'll go on with the rest of our meeting now. Our invocation today will be given by Ingrid Almquist, and our song will be by Jamie Goldsmith. Ingrid, pressure's on.
I just have notes. All right, hack, military speak. Um, Basically, today, I was just thinking about it because I was looking at my devotional, and I know that some of the COVID stuff is starting to ramp up again. And one of my friends actually mentioned to me that he was kind of scared to see if things were going to go back to the way they were. And one of the things I considered coming to Rotary today was, well, even if it does, that's okay because we made it through this far and we're just going to keep chugging through. And one of the greatest things about getting to come to Rotary with regards to fear is, while we're here to get together in fellowship, we might have some other fears and worries, about what's going on outside of this room. But while we're here together, we can kind of mitigate that because we know we're gathered here together to discuss things and do things that alleviate the fears of others. So with that, if you'll join me in a short prayer. Lord, as we gather here today in fellowship and peace, thankful we live in a place that we can do so. We all have our fears and worries beyond the time we've set aside today. But we shall not fear, Lord, for you are with us. We will not be dismayed, even in the darkest times, for you stand by us and help us put aside our own fears to battle the fears of others through service. Thank you, Lord. Amen.
Okay, so today I want to sing a song about the most awesome state there is, the state of Nevada. I put all the lyrics on the tables. If you know the song, please sing out. Way out in the land of the setting sun, where the wind blows wild and free, there's a lovely spot, just the only one that means home, sweet home to me. If you follow the old Kit Carson trail until desert meets the hills, where you certainly will agree with me, it's the place of 1,000 thrills. Home means Nevada, home means the hills, home means the sage and the pines. Out by the Truckee silvery rills, out where the sun always shines. There is the land that I love the best, fairer than all I can see. Right in the heart of the Golden West, home means Nevada to me.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Do we have any visiting Rotarians today? Russ, you got the microphone? Okay, you're unprepared, Russ. Is that correct? Okay. Should we find Russ? Okay. Should we find Russ? Okay. Okay. The most unobvious place.
I haven't been of service for so long in this position. I apologize, President Mike. I'm Russ Swain, grateful to be of service. And where are we at, by the way? I'm totally, you better find me again, right?
Visiting Rotarians.
Oh, here we go.
John.
Thank you. John Pally, and I am a visiting Rotarian. Excited to be a member sometime soon, and excited to be here today. Thank you.
We're glad to have you.
Welcome back.
Any other visiting Rotarians? Okay, how about guests of Rotarians? We have multiple. Actually, don't go too far. Harriet, right there. No, you're passing one.
Here we go. Sorry, Past President Jim.
So with all respect to the speaker, I bought my own restaurant critic here. It's my wife, Harriet. Hello, everyone.
Got it. Yes?
Thank you, Sergeant Swain. Jim Hunt here. We have three incredible women that are with us today from J.C. Penney's that we're going to be recognizing shortly. Brenda Almanza, Renee Lanto, and Lee Beeman. We'll be introducing them more properly soon.
Right here. Here we go. Hi, Tina.
Hi there. I want to introduce my guest, Phil Skimmerhorn. He's a neighbor of mine, and recently in our community started a group called Seniors Helping Seniors. He's organizing some of the residents to help with people that need food or need a ride to the doctor when they can't drive themselves, and all the things that the over 55 group needs. With that kind of heart, I thought I should at least introduce him to the Rotary Club as a possible member. So today is his first day. Hi.
Hi, my name is Bill Skirmerhorn, and my wife just passed 4 months ago. And I was talking to John over here and told him that, when that happened, it left a big hole in our house. It's pretty empty. And I'm finding out through Tina and our development that I'm finding ways to fill it. And it means a lot to me. So thank you.
Thank you.
That fine, by the way, needs to go to the foundation. I just want you to know.
Okay, right away. Fine,
Okay.
sir. Give me
No, that. No, with us today is a prospective member, David. He's being circulated. So as far as I'm concerned, he's in. You want to say a couple of words?
Yeah, I just want to thank the club. It sounds like a great club, and I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Great. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Rich Robledo. I
He's
thought you were a visiting Rotarian
I thought
at
he's a
first, but-
visiting Rotarian.
Rich Robledo here with Acclaim Real Estate. Nice to see everybody today.
Oh, that's a fine right there.
And it's going to get bigger.
Okay, got it.
With
Got
your
it.
family and friends looking to relocate, I've got one of my new partners, Joe Weinberger, with me today as a guest. Thank you for having me back. I will take that fine and split it with Russ.
Great.
Yes, sir. Hey, Al.
Al Wagner, I brought my wife, Luann, with me. And of course, Arlene's always here.
You do? Well, I'll gladly give you the microphone, President Mike.
I'm introducing an old buddy I've known since my senior year of high school, David Jones with Northern Trust.
One more. Oh, here we go.
Our speaker today brought his wife as a guest.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, we also have, yeah, come on, Jimmy. Right there. Come on up.
Okay, so I went to the second most fabulous city recently and attended the number 12 Rotary Club in Olive Rotary, the New Orleans Rotary Club. So I'm presenting this slide. Need a picture?
Come on. Great job on Home Means Nevada, by the way. I tried to do that in the years I've been a member, and I just totally butchered it the times I tried it. So you did a fabulous job by leading that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce the head table real quick. We have Brian Sorrentino, David Jones, Bill Steeran, and our speaker and his wife, as well as me. So please welcome our guests and our visiting Rotarians. Jim Hunt, do you have an announcement? Presentation? That's what I thought.
I'd like to ask JCPenney's managers, Lee Beeman, Renee Lanto, and Brenda Almanza to please come up along with past President Michael Gordon. Fellow Rotarians and Ginger, please. I'm sorry. Yes, Ginger, please. Fellow Rotarians and honored guests. As all Rotarians know, since 1937, a Paul Harris Fellow recognition named after the founder of Worldwide Fellowship of Rotary acknowledges individuals who contribute or have contributions made in their name of $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation. Today, as past chairman of the Santa Claus program and on behalf of the Rotary Club of Las Vegas, Nevada, past Santa Claus co-chairs Tom Krob and Randy Donald, current leaders of the Santa Claus event, Michael Gordon and Ginger Anderson, as well as all former and current Santa Claus committee members, it's my great honor to recognize three outstanding community service leaders who have been instrumental and at times critical to the impressive success and growth that the Santa Claus program has enjoyed over the past 25 years. Santa Claus program began at one JCPenney locations in 1996, the Boulevard Mall location, with 35 children taking part in the inaugural event. When we surpassed 100 children served, the event grew to 2 locations in 2002. When adding another location was essential to the growth of the program. After surpassing the 200 children served benchmark, we went to 3 locations in 2005 when JCPenney's and new emerging hero of the Santa Claus program, Lee Beeman, answered a call for help by becoming our lead contact and coordinator for our shopping partner. In 2013, we moved our operation at the Boulevard Mall to the Grand Canyon Shopping Mall, with continued seamless transition thanks to our much loved and appreciated JCPenney General Manager Lee Beeman, who in recent years coordinated our efforts from the Galleria Mall location. Over the past 5 years, JCPenney's Mall General Manager Renee Lanto and now Grand Canyon General Manager Brenda Almanza have also been champions of our cause to help less fortunate children through the Santa Claus program. All of these outstanding women have done everything in their power to make shopping at the JCPenney stores effortless, enjoyable, and safe for all concerned. Each year, these leaders and their employees work tirelessly with our committee to ensure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted long before the shopping begins on the first Thursday in December. From adding names to shopping bags to providing donuts and coffee and everything else in between, our JCPenney partners always go the extra mile for all of us, and more importantly, for the children who are in need of our assistance. As a result of our partnership with JCPenney and these amazing women, I couldn't be more pleased to report that to date, together, we've made Christmas brighter and literally warmer for 5,997 Las Vegas area children by providing $1,515,000 worth of goods and services since 1996. Fellow Rotarians and honored guests, Rotarians and Rotary clubs have a tradition of supporting the foundation by honoring others. At the International Assembly in 1979, incoming RI President James Bonar challenged each Rotary club to make one non-Rotarian a Paul Harris Fellow. The Rotary Club of Pikesville, Maryland responded by making a donation in the name of Mother Teresa in 1980. The entertainer Pearl Bailey also became a Paul Harris Fellow through the Rotary Club of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Many other notable figures have been named Paul Harris Fellows, including US President Jimmy Carter, Russian President Boris Yeltsin, US astronaut James Lovell, and polio vaccine developer Jonas Salk. And today we add three more just as important and impressive names to the list of those who have been honored by being awarded a Paul Harris Fellowship. So it's with great admiration, appreciation, and pride that I ask you all now to show your appreciation, admiration, and pride by recognizing our three newest Paul Harris Fellows, Lee Beeman, Brenda Almanza, and Renee Lanto. Brenda, would you like to come up? Would you like to present you? Michael? Ginger, can help Michael? Can we get a quick photo first and then have them say a word? Okay. Get on the end, and Jimbo will take a photo. Grand Canyon General Manager Brenda Almanza.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. This is a great honor to us. I've been doing Rotary since I've been with the company, and I started as a fitting room associate at the Boulevard Mall. And I've been doing this for about 13 years. And the first time I ever was involved in just being a volunteer as a fitting room associate, helping the children out, I realized that was something that I wanted to do as I progressed with the company and became a GM with Lee. That what you guys do is amazing, and really from the bottom of our hearts, we don't really need an award. We do it because we love doing it for the children, and we get to meet every single new person that comes through our doors, like yourselves, when you guys do the Rotary event, and it's amazing what you guys do. So thank you.
And Meadows Mall General Manager Renee Lanto.
I'm a bit shorter. I hope you can hear me. I ditto everything that Brendan just said. Your organization is amazing. I've been fortunate enough to be part of this for the last, I want to say 5 years. And it just brings a smile to all of our faces every year when we get to participate in this. And it is, of course, around Christmas time, and that is the time of giving. And these children are just amazing to work with each and every year. And it just fills our hearts with joy to watch them leave super happy. So thank you again for letting us be part of it. Appreciate it.
And this last one, kind of when I think of the Wizard of Oz and Dorothy saying to the Scarecrow, and I'll miss you most of all, it kind of is apropos because we just learned recently that our good friend Lee Beeman is relocating to Oregon, and it breaks our heart. She has been instrumental in our growth from when we went from one mall to 2 to 3 and then changed malls. And she's just solved every problem we've ever had. We're going to miss her from the bottom of our hearts. I love her. Please welcome Lee Beeman one more time.
I really have nothing to say except thank you, you guys. This is just like Brenda Renee said, this is not, we don't need an award. We love doing this. Working retail at holiday, you really don't enjoy the holiday as much as that you can working retail. So having these children's come, it tells us what retail is all about. It tells us what giving is all about. These children put so much faith and love that we just can't help we can't wait for it. It just, we get excited. We start planning in July and October, and it just, oh, there it is, and then there they go. Last year was a little different with no children, so we're glad. Hopefully this year we get the children back. But Jim, I am gonna miss you more than I can ever say. We met in 2004, and being a Boston fan and a Yankee fan, who knew we could make it work? And we did. We made it work. We made it work very well, and I hope that someone with someone's aid can maybe get this started in Portland, because I would love to continue the tradition. But I just want to say thank you. This is not necessary, and you guys are amazing what you do. You should be really, really proud. You are the true heroes of this event. So thank you very much.
Kimbo, I think that's the ladies. Yeah, just the ladies. Great. Jim Cole. Is he here? No. Okay. Bob Warner, did you have an announcement today? Nope. Got it. Okay. We have one other announcement I'd like to make. Our governor has given us a new mandate. Starting next week, where Lowry's has asked us to start wearing masks again. So up until we get the order not to do so, that will be our policy. We're trying to, follow the rules, be good citizens, and so that's that. Okay, any other announcements that I've missed? SOAR, yes.
Who first?
Right.
Where are we going?
We're SOAR.
SOAR.
Jamie.
Right here.
Mrs. SOAR. Miss SOAR.
Okay, so we are hosting a high tea to raise a little bit of money for SOAR this year. We have some extra expenses because we're having to replace some trophies and do some updates on old trophies. So we would love it if you would come out and support us. It's going to be a really fun high tea at the Las Vegas National Golf Club near Desert Inn and Eastern. It's $40 on eventbrite.com. Just search Rotary SOAR high tea. And your $40 ticket includes tea, snacks, and a $12 donation to SOAR. Bring cash because we will have a raffle. And Janice Linke is planning some games, like a trivia thing, that you could win prizes. We do need some raffle items if anyone has something they want to donate for the cause. And then, of course, our ceremony is September 13th at Las Vegas City Hall at 8 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian Sorrentino has an announcement. I do have an announcement. Okay, after Brian.
All right, Bob. Take it easy, man. There was an email that went out yesterday. Tony sent out regarding the concourse. There was an error in the date. It is actually Saturday the 23rd, not the 24th of October. There's discounted tickets. There's a link to it. So if you go on that email, there's a link to discounted tickets. $70 until the end of the week or till the 31st. And then it goes to $100, which is the regular price. There's also VIP tickets on there if you'd rather be a VIP. Those are $200, not discounted. Whatever ticket is purchased, our club gets $30 per. So send them out to anybody that you think would like to go to the event. It's a high-class event. Think Kentucky Derby or Pebble Beach Concourse. It's a dress-up event, and the weather's going to be fantastic. So if you see that email, feel free to send it to everybody and anybody you know. Thanks a bunch.
So the weather in October is going to be fantastic.
It's going to be perfect.
Awesome. Great. Good to know, everybody.
There you go.
I did forget. I didn't forget. Support your foundation. That's what I have to say. Every meeting now.
Every meeting. Got it. Thank you very much. Okay, with
That's going to cost him a fine, isn't it, President Mike?
Yeah, I think
to the
we're gonna fine
foundation.
you $150 to the foundation. Okay, Susan Ziobro is going to talk to us about a 25 Club event.
Dear Rotarians, thank you very much on behalf of the 25 Club and to the 25 Club members for all your support with the Alpine Picnic last weekend. I think everybody had fun. The food was great, and we had very nice turnout. And I'm sorry we didn't have more members there because it was just that nice of an event. But there's more. The 25 Club is having its monthly meeting, and I put a flyer on everybody's table, and we'll also get it emailed out to you. It's next Thursday, August 5th, and it is down in the Tuscan Highlands, on Southern Highlands Parkway at Becca's Restaurant. So our 25 Club member, Eris Lazarou, has set this location up for us every month for our 25 Club meetings. It is a gate security protocol, and so we require RSVP so we can have your name at the gate. Thank you.
Great. One more announcement. Okay. Oh, mud wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Tony's in charge of mud, but
No, my partner in crime, Tina, called it a mud wrestling tournament. We'll call it whatever. But in actuality, the Mesquite Rotary Club has invited clubs all around to their mud volleyball tournament, and it's a fundraiser. And I'm making this announcement on behalf of Bobbin, who is in transit back to Las Vegas from California.
Pause and smile.
Bobbin's heading it up. There's teams of 6, and we so far have Bobbin, Barbara Castro, Russ Swain, and Toby Clef. So there's
Great.
2 more openings. If there's more than 2 more that want to make up another 6, we can have 2 teams. And it's $210 per team. So far, President Mike has pulled out of his pocket $40. For every team that signs up, I've got $20 in, so we can donate, get our teams up there. And I'm part of the pom-pom squad because I don't get dirty. So it's September 18th. If you want to sign up, I still have the sign-up sheet. Get dirty.
okay. With that, we're breaking for lunch for a moment. Enjoy the fellowship.
Such a small group this time. Was it like this last week, Dad? Austin.
Yeah, I said it was just me and Russ.
We're getting smaller and smaller with these Zoom things, I guess. You're on mute. There you are.
Yeah, I noticed when I change screens, then you can't do the temporary mute. You got to go back to the full screen.
That's weird. Yeah, I had.
Found it out the hard way when I was trying to make a motion during a meeting. I was reading off of another screen and nobody could hear me.
Yeah, I did the space bar in a deposition yesterday, but it was like a delayed reaction. Like I had to push the space bar and then it was like a second or so after that. And then it let me, the people heard me, but yeah, that's not.
But I did figure out that if you unmute your whole screen ahead of time before you change screens, then it remains unmuted.
And that's not good either. You want people to hear everything. I finally remembered today, and then now there's nobody here. I guess everybody's there in person.
Yeah, like I say, last week it was just me and Russ, and I think Russ was in his car.
Hey
driving
guys.
somewhere.
Hi, Renee.
Yeah, I guess I haven't been on for a few weeks, so I guess has it just been dwindling until just the mighty three are left?
Yeah.
I saw Jim Hunt there. I remember him seeing him on here all the time. Russ.
Yeah, Karen must be there in person as well. So I guess
Mask.
everybody's getting over their fear.
Looks like it.
My boss's son just got tested positive, so I'm just gonna keep my distance.
I mean, it's more the twins I have. I can't vaccinate them. I can vaccinate
Right.
my 12-year-old, my 14-year-old, and I have just the young ones.
Right. Yeah, McKenna's vaccinated, but Tegan's only 11, so
When does he
she's
turn
gotta
12?
wait.
When does she
Next
turn 12?
June. Yeah, she just turned 11, so next June. So we got some time.
So for
I think by September, I think they'll have a vaccine for 5 to 12-year-olds.
to get, yeah, 12, and then to give you an example of how we feel about it, from Brandon's 12th birthday, we got him a trip to CVS to get vaccinated, among other things.
Right. Yeah,
He was not
but I
happy
mean, I
about
know people that are vaccinated that are still getting it, so I don't know. I'm just kind of still being pretty cautious.
Yeah, I have a friend of ours that works for the Review Journal, and they were vaccinated pretty early on. There have been a couple of breakthrough cases there as well of vaccinated cases, so it's definitely read with this variant. It's about 1,000 times the load of the original,
Right.
but at the same time, it could just get boosted again. So it's one of these nice recurring revenue models you hear so much about. But hey, if it's working, and so far side effects have been less than or around the same as other accepted vaccines, I like where we're at with it. How about you, Tom? How are you feeling? How is your recovery coming along?
Well, I'm in remission right now,
It's fantastic.
but I got to stay quarantined because my vaccine antibodies are all gone too. And I have this drug that I'm taking for 2 years that it
each time I take it, it destroys the antibodies.
Wow.
So we're working on a program. Don't know what we're going to come up with, but hopefully I can get a third shot on the 12th. We'll see what happens.
Oh, that was my next question, if whether you can get a shot, whether doctors say you can get a shot, and it sounds like you can. That's great.
We'll find out.
Do you get a vote?
Yeah, if I get a vote, I already know what I want to do. But we'll see what happens when, who has to, if they have to write a prescription, or, when I go down and they have my card, it's already filled out, what happens.
Yeah.
But I have another antibody test next week, which, the last one was negative, and hopefully maybe something's building back up. We'll find out.
How long are those tests? How long does it take for those tests to get back to you? Because that's got to be nerve-wracking waiting.
The last one was only a day and a half. I'm giving this one 4 days before I meet with the doctor. So hopefully they'll have the results before I meet with him.
Yeah. Good.
All the doctor's visits. Tegan started her physical therapy yesterday, and I sat in my car. But it's nice to have the fancy car now that I watched a show and worked on my work stuff with my laptop.
Where do you have to go for that?
It's down on Cheyenne. It's called Optimal Therapy. But yeah, they're all masked, and then there's only like 5 chairs in the waiting room, so they don't really want people hanging around there. So, but I had just as much fun in my car. Probably more fun in my car. So, I have the Toyota Sienna with the like footrests and like just like this whole it's like a living room in my car. So
I
it
love
works out well.
I love our minivan. We just got a 2020 Odyssey. I just love that thing. Although the door on it just started jamming. That's the reason we got rid of the old one, because the door was heavy. But yeah, we looked at us. I think my wife would have preferred a Sienna, even though she had an Odyssey beforehand. But they're both in the same. That one and the, forget the other one, the one from Chrysler. They're all pretty much in the same.
The Pacifica.
Yeah.
We looked at all of them, and I actually really did like the Honda Odyssey because it had a few things that I thought were handy. The seats moving, and you can do different configurations and stuff like that. But the kids fell in love with the footrests and those captain's chairs. So, but I'm not minding the hybrid right now. Like I really like the hybrid engine in this. So getting 500 miles per tank has been nice.
I haven't seen those footrests on the Sienna. I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds
They're pretty fancy. So we just got back from California, and I only had the last trip we had extra people, but this trip I just had the 2 kids. So they totally reclined all the way back, put the footrests up, and they were in heaven. And then they had this big, huge thing of snacks and drinks, and I didn't hear a peep from them the whole drive, so it worked out well.
How was the kayak trip?
It went well. It was a new group, so they were not quite ready for the 12-mile kayak, but they made it.
What a great lunch, huh? What a great lunch. Okay. We have a raffle. Get your tickets out. While you're looking for your tickets and trying to memorize your numbers, we've got Chris is going to give us one announcement from his committee. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we put together a tour of behind the scenes, in the scenes, and around the scenes of Battlefield Vegas, which is located right behind Circus. They're going to give us a private tour. We'll go there while they're still open. We'll get a tour. They have a museum there as well of a lot of military equipment. And then when they close at 6 o'clock, they're going to keep security around. There's a lot of security there for us. We're going to hang out for a while and we'll get to shoot some stuff if we want to. The people who own that have over 7,000 guns there and a lot of heavy military equipment. I fired their tanks off up in the hills of Sandy Valley and things like that.
So what is Battlefield Vegas?
It's a shooting range, but it's more than that.
They have tanks, right?
They have tanks, they have armored carriers, they have all kinds of stuff that we'll be able to climb on, look at stuff. You could run tanks over the top of cars, but we won't be doing that. But you'll be given a shot, you'll be given a chance to shoot guns if you so choose to. You won't be required to. Don't bring your own guns. They don't want that. They got rules about that stuff. But they've got enough for everybody there, believe me. So that's going to be our first tour. It's going to be Saturday. I think it's Thursday. I just planned while I was sitting at the table tonight here or today. August 26th, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
Great.
So we'll meet there.
Thank you. One of the things that we're trying to do this year is do kind of some social events that are kind of have some cachet. And this is the first one. We've also got scheduled a behind the scenes tour of the new expansion at the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority facility. We're working on Resorts World, kind of a behind the scenes tour there, and a number of other activities. Okay, our first ticket for the raffle, the prize money is about $600 plus what we raised today divided by 2, because half goes to the foundation. And the number is, I brought my glasses today, so now I can read it more confidently. 236-9741. 236-9741. We have a winner. Okay, come on. Come on up. Okay, now we have a deck here that has 2 jokers in it. I trust you since nobody else is arguing for the seat. Okay, so pick a card, any card. There's 2 jokers. If you pull a joker, you win the pot. He's going over here. He's already got 1. Oh, got it. And the winner is, show everybody. Show them. Hey! Okay, now rip it up. Every week, there's 1 less card in the deck, and your odds get better. Okay. There you go. No, hold on. David, for getting the right raffle ticket. Okay. The next one is 236-9692. Jamie. Okay. Great. Okay. Now, our speaker today is someone that I've known for about 25 years, a little less. He moved to Las Vegas. John Curtis moved to Las Vegas in 1981. Because of his culinary interests, he has seen, like few others in this town, our city grow into one of the leading restaurant cities of the world. John and I met when he was a partner at a law firm here called Kummer, Kemper, Bonner, and Renshaw in the mid-90s. In one of our meetings, he talked about his love of restaurants and doing a show about local restaurants. He started then soon thereafter the Vegas PBS, or KNPR, I'm sorry, and began covering the Las Vegas restaurant scene. And he's been a critic for Las Vegas Live, City Life, Las Vegas Weekly, multiple local television shows. He's also been on national TV as a judge on the Food Network's Iron Chef America, Restaurant Impossible, Man vs. Masters, and Top Chef Masters. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, he's been a member of the voting panel for San Pellegrino's 50 Best Restaurants in the World and for the James Beard Foundation Restaurant Awards. He's the author of this book, Eating Las Vegas, the 52 Essential Restaurants, which had its 8th edition published last year, as well as being an author of Eating Las Vegas website that you can go to and see regular updates. Okay, he is donating these to our foundation, and he'll sign, if you buy a copy for $20, he'll sign it, and all $20 will go to the Rotary Club. So raise your hand if you want one. We've got, okay, we've only got 7. Okay, so Tina, okay, Tina is in charge. There, what? We'll start an auction. Okay, no. So, okay. He's also going to be giving one away free for a trivia contest. So Tony Kern will handle the money. You can walk over there now and disrupt our group. No, go ahead. And ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome John Curtis. I'm leaving that for you. Somebody forget what I wrote.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for buying the book too. Okay. Well, I didn't know. I would have brought more. Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being here. I've done this a few times over the past 20 years, but this is maybe the biggest Rotary crowd I've done. I've done some Kiwanis and some other great organizations, but this it's a great crowd, and I commend you for picking such a good restaurant. Okay, I have been on the rubber chicken circuit more than once, and at least Lowry's is known for its food, and they do a good lunch, they do a great dinner here, and I really do like this place a lot. So thank them as well. A restaurant critic. I mean, there's lots of sayings about restaurant critics, but one of my favorites is that being a restaurant critic is it's like being a horse put out the stud. It sounds like a good idea, except when you have to do it all the time on demand. Okay, yeah, and there's a lot of people over my 27 years of writing about restaurants, and guys mainly. Women don't. Guys like the macho young guys, even older guys, come up to me and go, "Oh, I love food. I like to eat out. I can do what you do." And I hate to keep the sex analogies going here, but I always say to them, it's also kind of like being a porn star. I mean, every guy thinks he can do it, but no, they can't. Okay, it just sounds like fun, but there's only very few of them out there for a reason. All right. So what I like to do when I talk about my career in this, because I think it's of interest to people and people in our community, especially people like yourselves are so active in the community, so devoted to making it a better place. What I like to do is go through some of the history of dining in Las Vegas, because the history of what's happened with restaurants and food in this town is really compelling. And it's really one of the most dynamic, interesting things that's ever happened to Las Vegas. I mean, yes, it was a big deal when Hoover Dam got built. It was a big deal when gambling became illegal, when the strip, not illegal, when the strip was started to boom, when Bugsy Siegel showed up and all that. But in 1990, right around 1990, when our food scene started to have a seismic change in it, it created a different Las Vegas, a Las Vegas no one had ever seen before. So I'm going to spend just a few minutes here. My wife, also known as the food gal, she's not listening to me right now, which is pretty much standard around my house. Okay. She's gonna throw a napkin at me when I get too long-winded. But let's just spend a minute or two going through the history of Las Vegas, because it's very interesting and it really talks a lot about how food has changed our community. In Vegas, it used to be thought of as like prime rib central and cheap shrimp. Remember those days? I mean, the 80s, 70s, and 80s. There's a few people in here a little bit older than me, not many, but you remember that Vegas was not respected about food. It was the town that taste forgot throughout the 60s and 70s and 80s. And every hotel, and I know that because I started coming here with my dad and my family. My dad was a very typical of the generation that made Las Vegas. He was a sailor in World War II. And he started coming here in the 50s and 60s with the Rat Pack and that. And he was coming out to Vegas. We weren't several times a year, about once a year, starting in the very early 60s. He would bring the family. I remember the old Desert Inn and the Sands and the Rat Pack and all that. And my dad loved to gamble, and he did well as a businessman. He just thought Vegas, was the bomb. He loved it. But back then, even in the best hotels, the Desert Inn of its day, the Sands, all hotels had 4 restaurants going on. They had a gourmet room. Well, let's go from the bottom up. Some of them have buffets, some didn't, but I'll get to that in a second. They had a coffee shop. They had a gourmet room. They had a steakhouse. Then some had buffets and some didn't. And then they had an Italian restaurant, and they were all done in-house. And the whole idea behind Las Vegas for literally like 40 years was capture the customer, keep them in the casino, and make sure whatever they wanted to eat or drink, they would not leave here. For that reason, we had no real influx into Vegas of outside chefs, outside restaurant concepts, because every hotel, which they made a lot of money, but there were small businesses making huge amounts of money, but they were self-contained little cities. And that all changed. Everybody likes to say that it all changed with Wolfgang Puck in 1992, December 11th, 1992. But it really started with a chain steakhouse. Anybody can remember what that first chain steakhouse was? What? No, better than the Sizzler. Don't say Golden Corral. Someone says Golden Corral, you're out of here. I'm walking away, okay? Ruth's Chris. Who got Ruth's Chris? Ruth's Chris. Ruth Ertel was the owner and founder of Ruth's Chris, and she was centered in Louisiana, and she loved to gamble. And she came here and she made a lot of money, and she had about 5 or 6 Ruth's Chris in Louisiana. I think a couple were in Texas. She was making a lot of money, but she came to Vegas all the time. And she met a dealer named Taylor, Marcel Taylor, and he was always dealing to her at Caesar's Palace. And she invited him to Ruth's Chris in Louisiana. He went there. He said, "Why don't we put one of these in Vegas?" Long story short, she got talked into opening on Flamingo Road, even over the objections of her stockholders and the board of directors, because they all said to Ruth Ertel, who would want to go outside of a Las Vegas hotel? Who would want to go outside of a hotel to eat? Because all those hotels capture people and keep them there. Well, she opened on Flamingo in 1989, late 1989, not Paradise and Flamingo, not far from here, really. And within about a year, the Ruth's Chris here was making more money than all 7 or 8 of her other Ruth's Chris's. And that really got the attention of the national restaurant people. And that was really the beginning of our restaurant renaissance, was Ruth's Chris. People don't ever think about it, but I was there at the time. I was going, hey, a good steak in Vegas that's not Golden Corral, or Sizzler. So that started in '89. The Palm and Morton showed up. If you remember the early 90s, it was a big deal when Palm Steakhouse and Morton showed up, because we had these national steakhouses, parenthetically, back when they were good. I wouldn't be caught dead in most of them these days, but they were still pretty good back then. They didn't have 5,000 units, and they were putting out a good product. So they showed up, and then the Caesar's Forum shops opened, and that's when Wolfgang Puck came in. And when he showed up, that was just a big deal. I mean, a nationally, internationally known chef opening a famous restaurant. Spago at the time had made a huge splash in Los Angeles. And along with Le Cirque in New York, it was probably 2 of the most famous restaurants in America. It shows up here. And amazingly, same as with Ruth's Chris a few years earlier, the Spago in Las Vegas started making more money in a week than the Spago in Los Angeles was making in a month. And then everybody noticed that. And the people that noticed were now the F&B people in the big hotels. MGM came on board with Mark Miller and Charlie Trotter and Emerald Lagasse. And this was also happening with the rise of the Food Network. Remember that the Food Network really began like the early 90s, and it was making food and restaurants and cooking cool again, where it really hadn't been, I don't think, not on a national level. It was kind of a niche thing. But then suddenly everybody was talking about Emeril Lagasse with the BAM, and he had the TV shows and all that. And he opened in the MGM, and that made a big splash. And then the second, and that made such a big splash that when Steve Wynn decided to open the Bellagio in October 1998, he said, well, I've got to up my game here. And he just threw out the old template, the old, we got to have 4 restaurants, blah, blah, blah. He said, I'm going to bring in national restaurants, national chefs, big names. Some of them don't mean a lot to anybody, but in the in the restaurant world. But Jean-Georges von Gerichten was this very, very well-known chef in New York City. The Macchionis had Le Cirque in New York, which was probably the most famous restaurant throughout the 1980s and 90s in the world. And who else did they bring, honey? Help me out here. Julian Serrano for Picasso. Even I forget after a while. I mean, Michael Mina came down from San Francisco, and suddenly you had a murderer's row in a hotel of nationally known chefs and even internationally known chefs. And everybody took notice. I mean, this was October 98, and within a year, the attention being given to Las Vegas for its food was much more than you were getting for the shows. And I'm sorry, but Wayne Newton wasn't exactly moving the needle in 1998 anymore. Okay, and suddenly you were getting Newsweek magazine, Time magazine, the Wine Spectator, the Guardian newspaper from New York, the Globe and Mail from Toronto, the Miami Herald. They were all, the New York Times were just writing these long, effusive articles about how good our restaurants had gotten. And that spawned, I always, excuse me, I always like to say it, I call it the book of Ruth's Chris. If you ever, those Bible readers among us, and who isn't in here, right? In the book of Ruth, you have the begats, the book of, Aminadab begat Boaz, who begat this guy, who begat that guy, who begat that guy. It really started with the book of Ruth's Chris, and it begat restaurant after restaurant after restaurant that eventually ended up with Mandalay Bay, Venetian, Palazzo, Wynn opening up. And now you had just a tidal wave by the beginning of the 21st century. You had a tidal wave of great chefs and restaurants here in Las Vegas. And it was something to be proud of, because that's what everybody was talking about. It was, gambling is gambling. We all like to gamble, or we don't. Shows are shows, but this was something new, and nobody had seen this in Las Vegas. And it was probably the biggest restaurant renaissance or revolution in the history of the world for one small city. And I had a front row seat, and that was great. And I really appreciate it to this day. So that's kind of the history, the first part of the history of Vegas. Then after about 2005 came what I call the French Revolution. A lot of these great chefs from Paris, France came here. Some of you might know, have heard of these names. Some may not, but names like Pierre Gagnère, Guy Savoy, Joel Robuchon, these were internationally known restaurateurs and chefs of the highest reputation, and they came to Vegas, and that made things even better. And that was the rising tide that raised all the boats. And again, I was fortunate to have a front row seat for all of it. And then the Great Recession happened. Remember that? What fun times those were. In 2008 to 2011, everybody was broke. Nobody was going out. Everything just went into the shitter. It was, excuse me, but it was really, really tough. And it was bad. Everybody was just hanging on for their fingernails. But we came out of it. And what we're in right now is what I call Vegas restaurant history 3.0. And we've gone through the book of Ruth's Chris. We've gone through Vegas 2.0 with the big hotels, the Mandalay Bays, the Venetians, and all the celebrity chefs. We've gone through the French Revolution. And now the celebrity chef thing is kind of waning. But what we see now in Las Vegas is our culinary scene has grown up. And we're seeing a huge resurgence in local chefs and young chefs and neighborhood restaurants and great places to eat and drink that have now spread out from the hotels. So much so that you can eat very well in everywhere but Green Valley. Excuse me. Sorry, did I say that? Yeah. You can eat very well in this town and never come close to the Strip. For the first 20 years I did this, as my wife would tell you, I was on the Las Vegas Strip 6, 7, 8 times a week because that's where all the quality was. Now, 6, 7, 8 times a week, I'm in local restaurants and talking to local chefs. And once or twice a week, I'll head out to the Strip to see what they're doing. So it's really flipped. We've matured as a society and as a community. And our food scene now, I think, it can compete locally and on the Strip with lots of big cities, with the Dallases and, and the Los Angeleses and the San Franciscos and the Seattles. We have a food scene we can be proud of because it got started in the hotels, but they spawned it, but now it's gone everywhere. And now there's just great places to eat. And let's face it, neighborhood restaurants are a lot cheaper than the Strip. A big knock on the Strip is that they're there to soak the tourists. And sad to say, some of them do. And I'll give you a list off the record sometime. Okay. But so that's kind of the history of where Vegas has been. And I like to do that because it kind of explains what I've done. Like I said, I had a front row seat from the beginning of this, and I'm very proud and happy to have done that. And, but I decided to do it back in the mid 90s because no one else was doing it. The favorite question I've been asked now a million times in 27 years is, how did you become a restaurant critic? And I really did it when I was around the time I was talking to Mike, because no one else in this town was doing it. We were the town that taste forgot. We were also the town that the media was not paying any attention to here. And it's kind of sad, even today, I have been very critical of our local media for many years because sometimes it has seemed to me like the national media, the Los Angeles Times and the New York Times and the Chicago Tribune and CBS Morning News spend more time talking about our local restaurant scene, our local food scene, than the Review Journal does or local TV stations do. When it has become, let's face it, as big an amenity and a big a tourist draw in this town as craps tables and whatever Elton John is doing on any night, okay? And I get dismissive of some of these shows, but yeah, how many times can you listen to Donnie and Marie sing the same 8 songs, okay? The food scene is what is we're an international star, but too many times I think that gets overlooked by our local media. So I've done my part over the years to try to correct that. As Mike told you, I wrote Eating Las Vegas. We did eight editions, which may not become 9, but I'll talk about that in a second. And but at the beginning, I decided to do it. Nobody was doing it, and I had the territory all to myself. No other media was doing it. I was on NPR radio. Then I moved into CB. I was at Channel 8, then at Channel 3 for about 11 years. And in that time, I started writing Eating Las Vegas. And I tried to put all this experience and all this love I have for food, into something readable and useful. Because at the core, a restaurant critic should be a consumer advocate. A lot of people like to make fun of us and say, you're just a bunch of blowhards who like to eat a lot. But the best of us go into it as wanting to advise people where best to spend their money when they go out to eat. And what we try to do, what I've tried to do now for many years, is eat out more than anybody. And I can pretty much say this without even hesitation. Nobody in the history of Las Vegas has ever eaten out more than I. You can put the next 25 people next to me, and they still wouldn't eat out as much as I do. I've been doing it. How many nights a week do we eat out, honey? Almost all of them. So I'm in restaurants about anywhere from 10 to 20 times a week. And that's every week. And, on a good year, I'm at 450 to 500 restaurants a year. So that now, which I'm saying this not to pat myself on the back, but you have to look at what a restaurant writer does if they're trying to be a good consumer advocate and ask, everybody has an opinion about what they like. And so many people criticize what I've done sometimes, or when they do. Not when I get criticism, it's like, well, what makes you know more than me? And I admit, yes, I don't know what you like. You may not like cilantro or tarragon, or hate raw fish, or like your steak well done. There's nobody here who likes their steak well done, right? Right? But what you like, because food's the first thing we control, the very first thing we control, and it's the thing we have our strongest opinions on. Because let's face it, this little hole right here is a very personal thing. And we figure that out when we're about, 4 months old. And what we put inside it is very, very personal to us. And I don't know what you like, and you don't know what I like. All a restaurant critic can do is say to you, I don't know what you like, but when I say I like this steakhouse or this sushi bar, you say you like it because it's what you like. I say I like it on a subjective level, but objectively, I've eaten at 25 other sushi bars in town. And that's what I base my opinion on. That's the objectivity behind it. I can't, but if we could both, you could say, oh, I don't like that place at all. I get it. And all I can tell you is, the depth of what I try to bring there is a sense of I'll try everything and I go everywhere. And if I say this place is better than that place, it's my subjectivity, but it's based upon objectivity visiting every restaurant I can. And I do to the tune of hundreds a year. And I love it. I mean, you can't be this involved in anything unless you're passionate for it. I love food. I love chefs. I realize how hard they work. I used to be very critical as a younger critic. The older I get, I think I've morphed into more of an ambassador for Las Vegas food now. I'm not anonymous by any. I mean, I even get nailed in Chinatown now. Used to be in Chinatown, you could be Barack Obama and they would go, here's your bill. Who are you? We don't care. But now I walk into Chinese restaurants and Japanese restaurants. Oh, Mr. Curtis, good to see you. Well, again, because I've been to so many. So I don't make any pretense of objectivity anymore or anonymity, but I try to tell that when I write my reviews. So that's who I am. I'll just finish with what I call the death of the restaurant critic, because I think what I've done for 27 years, what other restaurant writers have done since the 50s and 60s is coming to an end. I'm kind of a dinosaur and I know it. People don't read about food anymore. Everything, as soon as these things got big, about 2004, 2005, 2015, 14, 15, as soon as these things got, and the cameras got big, everybody could Facebook and Instagram on them. The idea of reading somebody about food became passe. People aren't interested in reading descriptions of food when they can just look at a picture of a pizza and go, oh, I want to go there. Oh, look at my neighbor went to this great taco joint. He says it's good. Let's try it out. So what I've done is sort of dated now. That's why I'm not sure I'll do any more books. It's been a great ride. The restaurants of Las Vegas have been fabulous. I'm a huge fan of a lot of them. You can read about them in the book. The book, for those of you who didn't buy it here, is still available on Amazon.com and at the LasVegasAdvisor.com. And let me say, I've gone through the neighborhood, and that's about it. As I said, I look at myself now as the biggest booster for our culinary scene, and someone who passionately loves the chefs and everyone from the chef to the dishwasher to the hostess out front. These people work hard. They're young. They're passionate, and we have a really great gastronomic community now that we did not have 20 years ago. And it's something we should be proud of. And it's something that you can go out every night of the week and find an interesting meal off the strip as well as on. So with that in mind, and in leaving you, I'll tell you my favorite saying from my good friend Alan Richmond. When people say, why are you a restaurant critic? Why are you so into food? You might be into, I don't know, chess or tennis or whatever you're into. I go, Alan Richmond said, food is life itself. Everything else is parsley. Oh yeah, I'll take questions, and then I've got lots of questions. Then we're gonna raffle off one. I have one trivia question. Katie Crockett, she's still here?
Yeah.
Katie's disqualified because she probably knows the answer. Where's Katie? Where are you? Oh, there she is. Okay.
All right.
I'll take questions. Yes.
Great program. Thank you. I have a question I'm not sure you can answer, but my husband works at the MGM Grand, and every so often he tells me that there's a new restaurant opening up. If I were a tourist and I went to a restaurant and I really enjoyed my meal, when I came back, wouldn't I want that restaurant there again so that I can enjoy it? But there's such a movement of restaurant and changeovers of restaurants. Do you know the psychology behind that besides money?
I mean, why do they change so much in the big hotels? Well, because the big hotels have more money than sense, quite frankly. I mean, they can look at a place and go, oh my God, this place is big, but somebody decides, nah, I want to do Mexican food there. Let's plow that one under and bring another one in. What? Costi di Mare, my favorite Italian seafood place, which is always packed, and I love it. It was expensive, but great. Flying in Italian seafood every week. Wynn decided to plow that under and put a Gucci shop where it is. So the explanation is, yeah, those hotels, it's money. And the hotels have now, I'm going to sound very critical, they spent 20 years building up our culinary scene, but now it's all run by a bunch of accountants. Not anything against accountants, okay? But the visionaries are gone. Now it's just bean counting left and right. Oh, we can make $1 more a square foot on that property. Done. See, but the Steve Wynns and the Sheldon Adelsons and the Gamal Azizes and the F&B, the F&B pros that really put us on the map back in the 90s and the early aughts, they have all retired or whatever happened to them. So that's the problem there. So here we go.
Now, do you notify a restaurant that you're coming, or you just kind of walk through the door?
I hardly ever notify a restaurant I'm coming. But again, to get that, well, there's two John Curtises here. There's the John Curtis of 20 years ago, and there's John Curtis now. 20 years ago, I would surprise visit every time. Now I walk in and half the staff, they knew me from this place or this place. Oh, Mr. Curtis, I waited on you at Lowry's. Remember that time so they just know who I am. So it doesn't make as big a difference. I don't make any pretense to anonymity anymore. And I try to tell that when I write things on my blog or in this book, I'll tell you, yeah, the last meal I had there was comped or whatever. I don't make any fuss around with that. I come straight up with it.
So do you have a list of restaurants that you try to go to like in order, or do you wake up one morning and say, oh, I'm in the mood for Mexican, so what kind of Mexican restaurant is next to my list?
You are just described the thing that drives my wife crazy, okay? All right, it's really the last thing you said. I mean, in my head, I'll have it like, well, I've been to a steakhouse, I've seen sushi, I've had tacos twice in the last 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. But then every day's an adventure for her, and God bless her, she puts up with it. Yeah.
Okay, I was curious, are we likely to ever have a James Beard Award winner that sort of grew up here?
Short answer, no, and it's kind of sad because I was on the James Beard voting panel for like 5 years. They give Vegas almost no respect. It's because of our hotels. They still think of us as just this big Branson, Missouri with better taste is what they think of us as. We're just a giant tourist trap for people. And oh, by the way, there's some good food there. Okay. They don't, and they've never given us much respect. And it's kind of sad because our restaurant scene now is on par with anything going on in Portland or Seattle or Austin, Texas, where all these darlings of the James Beard Awards go. But I've just learned to like say, screw it to award show, because I think you got at one point you just got to do what you do because you love it and don't worry about getting awards for it. So.
Hi, two things. What do you think of Hard Rock Cafe? I work there, and then two, we come there tonight because I'm working.
Well, Hard Rock Cafe, the one on the strip?
On the strip, yeah.
Oh, I haven't been there in years.
Oh, I work tonight. So
Well,
I'll be there if you want to stop by. My name is Barbara Castro. You have to ask for me to sit in my section. Come meet our chefs. They're wonderful. And yeah.
You still do a great hamburger. They always did a great hamburger there. Thank you very much. All right, let me do a quick trivia contest. Let's see whose hand comes up first. Katie Crockett is disqualified. Okay. What is the oldest restaurant in Las Vegas? No. Who's that Golden Steer? You're close, but no tangerine. Okay. Yeah, Bob Taylor's. Were you going to say Bob Taylor's? Be honest now. What? Bob Taylor.
Bob Taylor's in the Northwest. Okay, yeah. Stay here. Okay, I want to thank our speaker. Number one, I'm working out a deal. It's not totally negotiated yet. We're going to try and buy another 20 books. They have to buy them from the publisher. So they've worked out a deal with us where we get a big discount. and then we'll sell them for the same $20 and give that to our foundation, Bob. Number two, we have an award we're going to give you, our speaker, John, where we donate some shoes to a needy child in your name. Okay.
Thank you.
Take a picture. And then we have a coin that has our four-way test that we use as Rotarians to guide our conduct. And so we're sharing with you that.
Thank you very much.
And then I think that's it.
Thank you all very much. It was a
Okay.
pleasure.
Okay, our speaker, we're not done. Hold on, give me 20 seconds. Our speaker next week is Aldo Martinez, president of the Las Vegas Board of Realtors. So Rich Robledo, you better be here. Okay, got it. I doubt that, but with that, our meeting's adjourned. You said you had to